Crack it.
Hello everybody and welcome into R&R Racing Lead, laying host tonight to some Monday Night Money Racing. Good to see everybody here on this Monday night. You are watching Austin Green on Ghost Racing Network. Drivers getting lined up, getting ready to roll off, and first time here over in the RMR Money Racing side. Excited for what these guys have got in store for us tonight. So without any further ado, let's head right down trackside and get started tonight with your starting grid. And give me just a minute here. We do have one last thing we got to get it set up with these guys as a little bit of a newer series, if you will. But tell you what, I was watching these guys go around a little bit in practice, and from what I could see, looks like it's going to be a fun one. We're in store for some good racing here tonight. And so here we go, getting started. Your pole sitter for the night is going to be Logan York. He puts down a 56.358. To his outside is going to be Hyper Motorsports owner John Ward. Back in third, we'll start Steve Sizemore with Justin Mills to the outside in fourth. Daniel Eberhardt and Tim White making up row number 3 with Dylan Jones back in seventh. Larry McDonald in eighth. Danny Eshelman, he is starting at ninth, and it's going to be Michael Menchaca rounding out your top 10 here for the night. Moving on back to row number 6, it's going to be Bobby Forbes, and one of the Team PGR drivers, that's John Darnell in the 99 truck. Martin Bourquet starts in the 13th spot with Christian Martinez in 14th. John Daniel back in 15th with Shane Bradshaw in 16th. Will Rainwell in 17th with Wesley Lynch in 18th. Richard Elliott back in 19th. Keith Miller is one of the, Keith Miller, one of the race control guys. CJ Fonda as well. So Derek Raleigh, I'm not sure if he's actually running, but that is series owner. We'll find out by the time this race gets going and gets started. Moving on back though to 23rd, it is Jimmy Shelton and Tucker McClendon rounding out the field tonight. He will roll off from that 24th position. As we go up now, let's take a look at your race info for the night as John Ward leads the field on the outside as they're going to do their one parade lap here. Weather outside, 79 degrees, 86% humidity, cloudy skies, winds at 8 miles an hour. It's the MNMR 106 here in the Craftsman Truck Series. 40 laps of action tonight at Talladega, 70% fuel. Everybody does have unlimited tires. A little different here though, 2 faster pairs. I think that means we're going to see a lot more racing action here tonight than what we're used to seeing with just one or none. Fixed setups as always, and then we got 2 green-white checkers if we're going to need them. 2.65 miles the length of Talladega Superspeedway. Track temp starting tonight is going to be 95 degrees. So it is going to be a good one. Racing action is presented by R&R Racing League. By the way, if you want to go check them out, we do have the Discord in the description. This is the first money race these guys are hosting, so we'll have to see what happens here. Carl Lynch says, is there a rain delay? Indeed there was. They had some session issues. So initially it was supposed to go green, I believe at 9:30, qualifying at 9:25, but instead qualifying got pushed back to 9:40. And here we are with green flag looking right about 9:49 as these guys will take the green flag. So looking at 70% fuel and how that's going to pan out in terms of pit stops. Trucks can usually go about 32 laps on 100% fuel. You do half of that, make it 16. Halfway between 32 and 16. I'm thinking these guys are going to probably go somewhere 20. I'm thinking maybe 24, 23 laps on a tank of fuel. So it should only be a one-stopper. Question's going to be, what kind of strategy do you play it? We got a couple big hitters in the field that you're probably already noticing. You're going to have to keep your eye on here, and that's Daniel Eberhardt and Dylan Jones, 2 of the veteran money racers we see out here. A lot of other guys, a couple of the newer ones, but you do see some veterans, John Darnell, Larry McDonald, Christian Martinez, Richard Elliott. But a lot of guys, a good mix here tonight. It's going to lead to a fun one. All right, here we go. Pace car is going to pull off. We are ready for 40 laps of action at the fastest track in NASCAR. Logan York with the pole. John Ward on the outside. Mills and Sizemore in row 2. Green flag is in the air. We're racing at Talladega. Lap 1 is complete. It's going to go to the 92 of John Ward, but still a lot of shuffling out back. No contact, though. Man, a lot of guys fishtailing here early. The 239 on the outside. That's Tim White. He's looking to get a run set up with the, I believe that's Larry McDonald in the 80. Sure enough, it is. Another one of the newer additions to Hyper Motorsports. John Ward, the captain, though, leading the inside. That's where they are trying to go right now. And another thing you're noticing here is a little bit different of a manufacturer mix than what we're used to seeing. Looks like quite a few Ford trucks in the field here tonight, and not a ton of teammates. I think Hyper is the biggest team in here tonight. And then, of course, watch for the 90 of Daniel Everhart and the 24 of Dylan Jones to work together. But besides that, a lot of these guys, this is their first time racing around each other. And you're going to have to find some guys that you want to decide to work with. You're going to need to find them quick. You'll need them for the end of the race. You'll need them for the pit stop. And you are going to need them if you want any shot at winning here tonight at Talladega. Payouts are top 3. And as it stands right now, they would go to John Ward, Tim White, and Justin Mills in the Ford truck. Further back, here we go. Already going to get some action going in that third lane up top. Trying to get it going. It's going to be the 32 machine of Michael Machaca. I thought he was going to make a block, but he couldn't do it. So now, already side-by-side action. John Ward still on the bottom. Larry McDonald thought about throwing a block all the way up to that top lane. And boy, they are rolling now. Martin Bourquet in the 71 truck. Trying to give a big push right now to Shane Bradshaw in the 88. And Bradshaw getting up a little high. You got to try to keep it down closer to the door of the truck in the middle. But so far, these guys are getting after it. Again, 2 fast repairs, so you kind of have the option to get racy. And John Ward, we've seen what he can do over in PGR. He knows that it is important to stay in front. In races like these, he wants to be there when we get to that first green flag pit stop. Exactly what he's doing now. We noted track temp at the start of this race. It wasn't very hot. And as a result, we got one making contact in the wall to 71. 4K, can he save it? It looks like he does. Man, that was a close call for Martin right there, and that is going to kill all the momentum in that third lane as the 33 of Wesley Lynch was there. He's going to have to check up, and it looks like Tucker McClendon as well. Nowhere to go. Richard Elliott on his inside. But there you go. Take a look at the track temp. Again, 94 degrees. That's not that hot. And usually the cooler the track temp is, the cooler temps on these trucks can stay, the longer you can push somebody. And therefore, that allows that inside and middle groove to stay stronger and makes it harder to really get that outside wound up. You got to have a lot of good trucks out there. You got to really get to pushing. Let's take a ride on board with one of these cats here, as we are now going to complete 5 laps as they come across the line this time. And we go right up front with Mr. John Ward. And Talladega, it's pretty simple. The goal, hold the wheel as straight as you can if you're in the lead. The goal is to kind of hold it right around that yellow line. But what you're seeing John Ward do here is try to control the lanes, and it's just important to do that as it is to lead on the bottom. And so as we get a little further back here, Tim White, as he gets a run, John Ward has the option to jump up and block it or stay low. Looks like this time he is going to stay on the front bumper of his ex-teammate Justin Mills, but if he gets back clear, if he feels Mills is starting to get hot, he's going to jump up, try to let that inside lane cool down a little bit, and ultimately try to work to keep himself towards the front of this pack. Still 2x2 as we go further towards the back. Looks like that third lane is going to start to get rolling here again in a couple laps. Shane Bradshaw is taking a peek, and looks like, sure enough, he is going to go to the top. Martin Bourquet is up there as well in the 71. And they're going to get help from a couple others. Looks like the 02 of John Daniels trying to make something work. Tucker McClendon actually dropped down to the bottom, but Jimmy Shelton making a run up here as they almost split 4 wide for just a second. They quickly think better of it, and they'll get lined up here. Jimmy Shelton currently the last running truck on track, and was looking here at Derek Raleigh, series owner. Looks like he is actually running the field tonight. Wasn't sure if he was kind of helping the race control as a third party, but nope, he is up there, and sure enough, he is looking for the lead. Jumping to the outside line. He's got a push now from Michael Menchaca. Actually, excuse me, I went too far up there. Got the paint schemes mixed up. Sitting a little bit further back right now, up front on the outside. Got to go all the way up here. Michael Menchaca is giving a really good push there right now. We saw Shane Bradshaw trying to make something work on the outside, but it's still Tim White, the man who's been experimenting quite a bit with that middle lane tonight. He's been getting some good pushes. You go a little bit further back here. How about Christian Martinez? He's got a good run going so far here tonight. Finds himself currently 3rd on the outside, 6th overall. Logan York just on the bottom. And interestingly enough, a couple money racers won a party last night, and Logan York. In fact, let's see if I can represent you. So this view we're showing you now, this is the view that most guys run, and this is what they see from the inside of their truck. Logan York had this stretched out probably about what would look real like another 5 feet from where this view is. So picture all the trucks almost looking like just really, really small objects in your front windshield. That's exactly what Logan York had. So this is the first time he's racing with this point of view, and so far it looks like it's working out pretty well. The thing it's working out the best for right now is Tim White. That second lane finally got rolling enough to get him clear. John Ward going to have to relinquish the lead here for a couple laps, but he is watching right now about this third and maybe fourth lane is, they're getting almost 4 wide for just a second. We got one blinking, falling all the way back. I'm not sure if they disconnected. That's the 71 of Martin Bourquet, the Canadian driver that we have in the field tonight, and he gets it back together, it looks like. Just had a couple little internet spikes for a moment. That was a scary moment. As John Ward, watch if he gets clear here, the 32, maybe thinks about jumping up, but he's not going to be able to do it this time. And further back, looks like the 33 is going to try it again here. Wesley Lynch, they're wrecking. 2 around, out back. Wesley Lynch was initially involved, but it looks like it's going to be the 2. I believe that's Will Rainwell getting the worst of it. Sure enough, it is. That's a tough break. The driver out of Robinson, Illinois. Southpaw Motorsports team owner. He will have to use one of those 2 fast pairs right here. I mean, look at the front end. Tells all the story. He had some heavy contact with whatever he hit. No smoke out the back, but aero very important here to a track like Talladega. You need all of it, and I don't think he's going to have much of it left. Might be down on engine power as well. So let's go take a look at exactly what happens here to bring out your first caution. They're working their way here through turns 1 and 2. Everything seems okay, but as that 33 we just talked about went 3 wide, yikes. There's going to be some contact there on the right rear between Wesley Lynch and Will Rainwell, who we see, by the way, over in Asphalt Outlaws Racing. But hold on to that thought for just a minute here. We're going to go to the chopper view for this one and watch how close these guys get. Now, what Wesley's trying to do when he jumps out, he doesn't have any help, so he's going to try to get a big side draft here off the 2 truck, and I think it just kind of pulls Will Rainwell up the track just ever so slightly. Nothing either guy necessarily did wrong. In fact, it didn't look to me like they necessarily even made contact. You got to wonder if there was a little bit of that right rear netcode playing a factor as well, but overall, you kind of play that risk versus reward game when you pull a side draft this early on, and in this case, tough break for Will Rainwell and Wesley Lynch, who's going to take a pretty hard shot in this as well. You see, he kind of gets pinned up against the outside safer barrier, and then everybody else trying to sneak by, and they do. It's actually an amazing save there by Wesley Lynch once he comes off the 2 truck of Will Rainwell to not hit anybody else. And you saw Eberhardt and company all drop into the low sides, take a couple different angles of this. It's a big hit for Rainwell. He's lucky that truck didn't come back down into traffic because everybody dodged. I did see, looked like one truck there make some contact. Couldn't tell exactly who it was from that view. Take another shot at it here. Watch the 33 as he comes down. That's going to be, looks like the 24. 24, the 25. Didn't think that was Richard Elliott, but it could have potentially been. And then there you see the 02 sneaking by of John Daniels. He's going to come to a sliding stop. Let's take a couple more looks at this one here. First one from the wall cam, and then we'll end it with an onboard cam for Daniel Eberhardt. And we talked about how close this was for Daniel Eberhardt. He was the first truck that arrives on scene in this wreck, and he's going to be able to see it, duck low, and miss it. And so here you go. Here's the onboard view for Daniel Eberhardt. See, I'll tell you what, he kind of gets to see it happen too. That's one of those things as a driver where you're watching out, you got your eyes peeled, and watch this, he's going to see it. And I'll tell you exactly when. He sees the 33 getting up there, and it's right there, they're wrecking. You can already see it. Going up the track goes Will Rainwell, and then it's just a matter of a couple seconds before there's contact. The rest is history. Ducks below, John Ward stays in it till the caution comes out, and he is going to survive the first blow here tonight at Talladega. Up front, John Ward being scored as your leader with Tim White in second. Justin Mills back in third. Logan York fourth. Michael Menchaca in fifth. Steve Sizemore in sixth. Daniel Eberhardt back in seventh with Dylan Jones eighth. Christian Martinez in ninth. And Richard Elliott rounding out your top 10. Already 1/4 of this race completed. Still expecting that green flag stop. What this caution does, though, is push as far as they can go on fuel, at least in terms of the tank here, to probably right about lap 34, 33, 34. I don't think you'll see anybody saving enough. You'd have to save 6 laps. You just can't do that here at a track like Talladega. Too much throttle time, but definitely could see this final pit stop be just fuel, no tires. And we could see a little bit more strategy play now in terms of maybe going when the window first opens, maybe wait until it ends, or somewhere right in the middle. Good to see everybody watching here tonight, supporting these guys on. As it looks like Carl Lynch, we talked about earlier. Dustin Carruthers, good to see you in here. Last week's winner for the Little Guys Series, not going to be in here tonight. BK Dibb says, let's go John. Jessica Isabel says, let's go Bourquet. And please let me know if I'm saying it wrong. I hope I'm saying it right. Dustin Crowder says, let's go Wesley. Carl Lynch says move BNS, and Dustin Crowder says wreck. Yeah, you certainly got that right. And that's not going to be the last one we see tonight. Talladega, over 20 trucks. I think we're going to see a couple more. In fact, officially, we did have 22 start this race. Payouts initially were based off of 30, so they're not going to quite be as big as maybe what they initially look like, but they're still going to be pretty good because it's only top 3. Remember, the less spots you pay out, the higher the payout's going to be. Let's talk about those just here real quick. So initially, again, if it was based off of 30 drivers, which they didn't quite get that tonight, first place would have been 200, second 150, third 100. If I had to guess, it's probably going to go down closer to maybe 150 for first, maybe a bit under 100 for second, somewhere around 70, 60 for third. That's just a completely rough guess, by the way. But hey, for 15 bucks, not too bad of a gamble. We'll see who can take it home here tonight. And don't forget that after this race, coming up next is John Ward's Little Guy Series. That will be broadcasted by Dawson Wise over on Hickory Racing Network. He does a phenomenal job, and that's a fun race. I'll probably be in that one myself here tonight. But as we get ready to go back green, now you wonder, do guys cool the aggression down? Do you keep the throttle going? I mean, how do you go about it? I think the aggression level stays the same, right? I mean, we're 11 laps in. You've only had probably 1, maybe 2 trucks that have had to use their fast pair, and you got 2. So I think at this point, there's no reason to just bail out of it. I think you got to just keep going at this point and see if you can't maybe get some track position before that green flag pit stop. And speaking of up front, John Ward, he's been in control. In fact, he's been in the top 4, led the most laps the entire night. Tim White, he's up 4 from where he started. We'll go back a little further to Michael Menchaca. He's up 5 positions from where he started. Richard Elliott, he's already up 9. A couple guys maybe not going in the direction they necessarily wanted to. As it actually, by the way, was not Richard Elliott, who we thought had that near close call on the last wreck. Go back a little further as the field's all getting lined up and ready to go back green. And talked about, thought it was, I can't tell. Still, again, a lot of new paint schemes. First time seeing these guys, but it might have been, I can't tell right now. We'll have to figure it out here later. Nonetheless, as we go back up front, pace truck pulls off. We are ready to go back green. Into the Geico restart zone we go. And through the gears, it's a phenomenal jump for the inside. Justin Mills with a big surge for the inside. He gives it right to the back of John Ward. That's going to allow those 2 trucks to get clear. Tim White immediately is going to jump to the bottom. That'll leave Logan York by himself up top awaiting help. And he's going to get some. But the question is, how long before it gets there? Steve Sizemore still getting wound up through the gears. Man, that was a quick move from Steve Sizemore, but he's going to get a taker here. Looks like, oh man, Daniel Everhart, though, he splits him now. Gave him a push, maybe not the push he was looking for. Now they're going to split Daniel Everhart, but he's going to get some help from Dylan Jones. Logan York quickly going to drop back down to who he's raced a little bit more with. And so now if you're Tim White, you got to find a spot to duck in. Logan York's going to do it. Maybe a little bit of a teammate or just an alliance decision right there to help the 239 truck out now. Maybe have a friend for later. 3x3 further back. They still have not got this completely settled out. You got guys trying to figure out how many positions they can get. That was the 88 of Shane Bradshaw, but he's finally able to tuck in line. And maybe not for long, as he's going to look 3 wide again on the outside. He's trying to get on the outside of the 12 of Steve Sizemore. And he's able to do so, but he's got no help as Richard Elliott drops to the bottom. Just behind them, there's the 17 of Derek Raleigh. John Ward up at the front. Single file, actually, right now through about your first 5. Not something you see too much of in money racing, but with John Ward leading the Pied Piper at Talladega, and money racing is starting to be what he becomes. But Everhart is going to make the move to the outside. You saw that truck fishtail. He waited till he had as much momentum behind him as he could get. And he's lined up with the 239 of Tim White, the 48 of Logan York, the 27 of Tucker McClendon. And I think this lane is getting ready to start getting rolling, but it gets split again. The 239 of Tim White. Not sure if he's dropping it back here, if he just does not want to push that 90 truck right now. But he is going to have to fall back and try to fall in line. Tucker McClendon not going to give him any help. So we'll have to tuck in front of Raleigh in that 4K in that 71 machine. 71 and the 17 with similar paint schemes here tonight. But up front, make it about 6 cars deep down that single file line. Just as I say that, 24 is starting to get it back going. That is Dylan Jones on the outside. He's got a new paint scheme here tonight. So he was your truck that missed that last near wreck, and he's got Daniel Everhart behind him. Talk about those two being kind of wingmans to each other. They used to be teammates. They still work together every once in a while when they come to these super speedways. And, man, they are showing the experience right now. What a push down the back straightaway from Daniel Everhart. He gets Dylan Jones clear and by plenty. Jones drops to the bottom to allow Everhart to cool off. And just like that, you put two of the most dominant forces in all of money racing in the front. And now this is going to be a tough task for the rest of the field to try to get around. That third lane, though, already not... Well, Eberhard kind of decided to jump up right there. I'm not sure if he got a bad push here. The camera angle didn't show it the exact way I was hoping it would right there. But, boy, he shot right up to that third line. Let's hop on board and see if this was a decision or if he kind of got forced. And I think it was a decision. Eberhard maybe just kind of learning some stuff right now. Playing with the air, seeing what his truck can do. I think he just wanted to go to the front, see if he could get there. Oh, they're wrecking! 2 around back into the pack. The 02 of John Daniels is in it. The 88 of Shane Bradshaw as well. The 17 of Derek Rowley gets T-boned. Daniel Eberhard nowhere to go. The 12 of Steve Sizemore's in it. Second caution of the night flies on lap 15. And it's going to collect about a handful of them. Derek Raleigh gets back rolling, as does the 02 of John Daniels. But it certainly looked like a couple guys that took a big hit towards the end of that, one of them being Daniel Eberhard. And that truck, yeah, not looking too good. It's pretty crippled on the left front. Well, let's go back and take a look at it. The racing continues to be aggressive, and you had a lot of disorganization through a couple different lanes here. And eventually something's going to give. And, you know, we talked about Eberhard choosing to go to the back, kind of catches himself in that position. Maybe isn't there if you go to the front. It's a risky run, but let's see what happens here. What this wreck really starts off of. Ooh, there you go. It's going to start with the 12 of Steve Sizemore. We'll back that up and take another look a little bit closer to Steve. So he's got the 88 of Shane Bradshaw behind him, it looks like, and nothing Shane's going to do wrong, but just watch. See the disorganization right here? That's the 80 of Larry McDonald. In fact, I'm going to back this up even more because this starts pretty much right as they come onto the back straightaway here. So you see the 27 of Tucker McClendon jumps up. Larry McDonald looks like he thinks about going with them. Quickly thinks, never mind, I'm going to jump back down to the middle. Steve Sizemore kind of follows that exact line Larry goes through. So he washes up. The 88 of Shane Bradshaw doesn't. When the 12 looks to come back down to the same line that he had been running. Shane's kind of already there, and I think Shane was trying to check up, but unfortunately, it's just too little too late for both of those drivers. And there you go. Big contact to the inside wall right there for Steve Sizemore, and that wasn't all of it. Shane Bradshaw, take a look at a couple of the other drivers. So that's Dylan Jones. So we actually have two 24s in here tonight. These guys continue to throw me for a couple loops. So it actually was not Jones at the front last time. We'll go back to that in just a moment here. But leading the way right there, and I want to make sure we got this checked here real quick for just a moment before we go any further. I think that was Danny Eshelman in the other 24 machine here tonight. Looks like it is. But here we go. Take a look at the wrecks. They come down the backstretch. Steps out of line a little bit. You see Steve Sizemore, and then there's the contact. Go further back because, yeah, actually Eshelman's the 26 here tonight. And I know that view didn't do it justice, so we'll take a couple different angles this one where we can. And here we go. Take another zoomed-in angle of it. And once he gets turned, when he gets down into Jones, maybe it only is a two-truck wreck, but they just barely clipped the 02 of John Daniels. So it makes this wreck a lot bigger than it was initially going to be. You see the 239 of Tim White jump low. Shane Bradshaw, he's going to get turned before he's going to go for a slide. Collects Derek Relay, who almost gets upside down. That was a big hit for that truck. He slides into the inside wall. Eberhard T-bones him as he had nowhere to go as they all get back rolling. Let's take an onboard view here with the 88 of Shane Bradshaw. Sees it, sees him wrecking, thinks he's going to escape it, and just not able to. Seized in part. As he gets back rolling, there's Daniel Eberhard slide back up the track, slides back down, but everybody able to miss him second time. Here's a view from the wall cam. Watch these guys at full speed. It's a lot harder to save these trucks than it looks like, and it's going to be a fast pair for probably about 3 or 4 of these guys that I saw in that wreck. So a lot of them got quite a bit of damage from it. Take one more look here from TV1. And there's the hit for Shane Bradshaw. I'll take a look, though, the 2 further back of Will Rainwell. He actually splits the gap. You see him on the inside there, missing all this contact, and then being able to miss Daniel Eberhard as he slides back down. So a nice piece of driving there from Will Rainwell. And as we go back up front, 24 laps to go. It's probably going to be 22 when we get the green flag, assuming we get the one to go this time. And guess who? John Ward still in the front with Danny Eshelman back in second. Logan York in third with Justin Mills fourth. Larry McDonald rounding out your top 5. Christian Martinez, good run for him. He's up 8 spots from where he started this race at. currently sitting in that 6th spot again in the 1 truck. Richard Elliott behind him, he's up 12 and 7th. Michael Menchaca in 8th, Tim White in 9th, and Jimmy Shelton currently rounding out your top 10. And it does look like we got the 1 to go signal, so we are getting ready to go back green. Let's go over a couple quick announcements here, Ghost Racing Network, before these guys get back at it. Over to where we're going to head next. Tomorrow night, Tuesday Night Thunder hits Talladega Superspeedway for the round of 8 to determine your championship 4. It's going to be a good one. Excited for it. And look at the payouts for the guys that will make it to the championship. If they can survive the round of 8, Dawson Wise will be joining me in the booth for that one. Excited for it. Can't wait and hope to see everybody there. Another announcement that we actually just made today, and in fact, I wish I could play the trailer up here. I put a lot of time into it, but unfortunately, due to copyright restrictions, the music in the trailer will not let me. But nonetheless, Ghost 74 going to be making its debut in the 24 Hours of Daytona for iRacing this weekend. The team will consist of Alex Hill, Cody Nagels, Matthew Baker, and myself. That's going to be a fun one. We will be running the Cadillac prototype. Ghost 74 to honor Robert Jordan, one of the guys who I got to see for quite a while when I was broadcasting NSRA, did a lot for the money racing community and just the league racing community when it came to super speedways in general. And sad to see Robert gone so soon, but going to honor him on the car. Can't wait for that event. It's going to be a good one. If you want stint times, go check it out in the Ghost Discord. And hey, we'll be broadcasting some of it here live on Ghost Racing Network. That'll be the first live stream that we do that isn't purely commentating. Excited for it. It's going to be a good one. All right, so with 22 laps to go, that fuel window, boy, it is really, really close. And honestly, I think if anybody that came in to top off, they're probably good to go, but it's going to be close. So we'll see if everybody decides to maybe simmer things down here and try to kind of save some fuel, or if you just go from it right from the get-go, try to get track position and maybe hope that you can run everybody else out of fuel. All right, so as they work their way back into the Geico restart zone, again, 22 laps to go. Green flag back in the air. Good start for John Ward and Logan York on the inside. That's going to be a tough duo to push past. Larry McDonald, Richard Elliott, new Hyper Motorsports driver versus old Hyper Motorsports driver. Richard Elliott no longer on that team. Larry McDonald, one of the new additions, but up top, how about Danny Esselman? And caught me off guard because I just haven't got to see Danny around in a while, but he comes out here tonight looking poised, looking fast, and holding a beautiful line right now on the outside for Justin Mills to push him with just about everything he's got. And as they go down the backstretch the first time, that's really the lap where all the momentum shifts. That's where if you're on the outside, you got a good chance to make a move, but they're not able to make it work that time. They're going to have to sit back, settle down, and try to make this move again. Looking at track temp, it's gone up 2 degrees from where we started this race at, now at 96. And so you got to wonder, does that help that outside line at all? 2 degrees shouldn't make a big difference, but you never know. Going to be coming to 21 laps to go this time. Still no 3 wides. The inside gets bottled up. There's the run Danny Esselman needs. He will get clear as he jumps to the bottom. Justin Mills now with a run on the outside. He's getting a push from Christian Martinez. Again, it is only a top 3 payout tonight. And if you want a chance at it, I would say you need to either be in that first row or pushing as hard as you can in the second. Anywhere else, you're going home empty-handed. Don't look now, though. You see further back, Daniel Eberhard. I think he's trying to get lined up with Dylan Jones to make a move. Are they going to split to the bottom? Looks like actually no. They're going to quickly jump right up to the top. And so they'll settle in behind the 33 of Wesley Lynch up front, the outside. Starting to fade here just a little bit since Esselman dropped down, but John Ward's going to jump back up to the top. He'll get a little bit of a side draft, and now he'll get lined up on the front bumper of Justin Mills. Michael Menchaca and Jimmy Shelton. I was going to say those two maybe thinking about 3 wide. Looks like they're giving it a thought. The 32, there he goes to the outside. The 1 truck's going to follow, but now all of a sudden, Mills and Ward get clear. So as they jump down, they'll quickly shuffle back down to 2x2. Up top, further back, here comes Dylan Jones and Daniel Eberhard jumping up to the top. It's only 2 for now. But I'm telling you, watch these two. They're going to get a run, and once they start getting through a couple of these guys, they're going to start to make some friends. They will start to get some help. Does anybody think about jumping up to block it? And remember, as this third lane rolls, all it's going to do is hurt the middle if they can maintain some momentum. There you see the 71 of Martin Bourquet, nothing to do yet. The 27 of Tucker McClendon, he's got the option to jump up, but still not making the move, and he's got a gap right now between himself and Jimmy Shelton. Still not jumping up yet. Further back, it looks like Shane Bradshaw, Wesley Lynch. They're going to get lined up along with the 0-2 of John Daniels. If they can catch this group, that might add some to the mix here. It looks like they're going to get another taker here as well. Daniel Eberhard, they're trying to move to the front. That's John Darnell in the 99, and In fact, first time that we're talking about John here tonight, but shouldn't be surprised to see him being one of the guys that's trying to be aggressive. He's rocking the Ghost Racing Network livery tonight on the Ford F-150. Good looking truck. John Darnell looking to see what he can do. Currently down 4 from where he started, but still a lot of racing to go. 19 laps around this 2.65 mile oval super speedway. And out front it is John Ward and Christian Martinez. Justin Mills pushing his old captain. Oh, they're starting to get out of shape a little bit on the bottom. That was a big moment right there for it looked like Danny Eshelman and Logan York. They were able to both gather it up, keep going. You got to be careful of bumping that apron here. But again, a little bit out of characteristic from what we're used to seeing in money racing. Still 2x2 here, and as this race continues to go on, time's running out. If you're not saving fuel, you need to go to the front. That's the only reason I think you could still stay at the back. In fact, let's hop on board with a couple of these guys, see if the throttle tracing says anything that we're missing here. Bobby Forbes on the bottom certainly doesn't sound like it. He sounds like he's about full gas as well, as is everybody else. And if we take a look, there you go. He's able to burp the throttle a little bit right there. And again, when you're in the draft, you don't have to run nearly as much throttle time as you do out front because you already have guys breaking the air for you. You don't have to be the one breaking the air. Daniel Eberhard, Dylan Jones, you saw them drop back down into the outside line. They realized there was nothing going, and they were going to kind of make a checkpoint as they did make up some spots before that run stalled. So they dropped back down in right about the middle of the pack. And once they get a run, maybe cool those temps off a little bit. Watch for those two to jump right back up to the top. As we're going to be coming to 17 laps to go this time. Again, fuel mileage, boy, they are going to be knocking on the door of running out, running on fumes, if you will, if they're able to make it to the end. But all you need is enough to make it to the checkered flag. Doesn't matter anything after that. And right now, they are still dicing it around up front. Only 2 lanes, but we're seeing a lot of switching between bottom and top from your leaders. John Ward hopped back up. That gave Justin Mills now a chance to cool down. Christian Martinez going to see if he can push both himself and John Ward clear. Maybe try to switch. Nothing doing, though, as Danny Eshelman gets tandem up with Logan York, who almost pushes him a little too far. You got to be careful when you get down into the corner. That's kind of the area where it's time to stop pushing. Good job there by Logan York to bail off of him and give him a chance to catch it. Well, since we're going to be coming to 16 laps to go, it's the calm before the storm. And before things get too crazy, how about a little crank it up at Talladega? Here we go. And that'll do it for tonight's segment of Crank It Up, because the action is starting to get more and more heated. Saw a couple glimpses there during the Crank It Up segment of 3 wide, but nobody could really get anything working. In fact, Eberhard went a little bit in the wrong direction along with Dylan Jones, and up front, not much has changed. John Ward still well in control. The outside being led by Christian Martinez. Justin Mills, I think at this point he is committed to pushing, at least until we get within the last couple laps of this race. Danny Eshelman, nothing he can do. But Jimmy Shelton's starting to move his way through the field as you see him now third on the outside. And he's taking a couple peeks. Looks like he maybe wants to jump out. He's wondering, though, if he can get the help. And if so, when does he make the move? And sometimes it might be best to wait for some other guys to do it first, as Eberhart, Jones, and Darnell all going to jump out to that third lane. Logan York, I think he's trying, but he's going to be just a little bit too late. Nothing going, so now Dylan Jones will draw even with Logan York going into turn number 1. As they work their way off of 2, that's where you're going to see the next surge of momentum from that third lane. A lot of cloud cover right now. Track temp is cooling, but the third lane is coming. Here comes Dylan Jones. Big push. Is it enough to get clear? All the way up top he goes. Christian Martinez, nothing he could do. Michael Menchaca pushing. But how about this? Dylan Jones not quite going to get clear. They almost split 4 wide. And he is going to be able to sort things out as Daniel Eberhart will now take the lead up top. 24 falls back to the front bumper of Michael Menchaca. Now John Wood's looking for another move. Almost a block by Christian Martinez. That was a close one. Martinez dropped back down to the bottom. Ward gets enough momentum to get clear. Trying to bring Dylan Jones with him. Will Jones try the switcheroo on him here? Doesn't look like it. They are coming to 12 laps to go. And so now, if you're John Ward, what do? Do you settle in? Remember, when they get 3 wide, it's easier to control lanes, but the bottom also tends to roll a little bit better. And John Darnell leading the outside there as him and Eberhart got separated, wrecking out back. 2 of them going hard towards the inside wall. And big hit for Larry McDonald. Steve Sizemore comes to a halt. 2 trucks, no caution. There we go. I was about to say, my goodness. It's a big impact for no caution, but caution is out. Third one of the night. Falls with 12 laps to go. That will be a faster pair without a shadow of a doubt for Larry McDonald. That has a ton of damage to his truck, and he's going to clobber this inside wall. We know that much. Question is going to be, how does this whole thing start, which ultimately sends him down there? I think I might know the answer here, but let's go to the chopper view. Derek Raleigh going to give a little help here, maybe to Steve Sizemore. And actually, we saw this almost same kind of deal for Steve Sizemore earlier, but in his defense, I want to see if did maybe try to get a little bit more zoomed in on this. All right, here you go. Watch Derek Raleigh in the 17, third truck up top. He's trying to get to Steve Sizemore to give him a push. And you can do it in the turns, but you got to be careful. And they were just starting to come towards the exit truck, maybe starting to unload a little bit. But ultimately, I think more than that, he gets him just slightly offset to the left. And you got to remember, it's kind of like a chain effect in terms of this first bump that he gives him is just going to be a little bit offset. Sends him up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't much. I don't think he was trying to hit him when he got offset, but boy, he just barely bumps him right there, and that shoots Steve Sizemore up the track just a little bit. And then as Sizemore tries to come back down to get back in line, Derek's just not able to check up to hold it off his rear bumper, and he gets down into Wesley Lynch. Derek Raleigh was able to save it, it looks like, for the most part up top, but then you see the impact right there for Larry McDonald, and boy, it was a big one. Could take a couple different angles at this one. Yeah, Larry definitely got the worst of it. I think everybody else, for the most part, was able to unscape relatively, or I guess I should say escape relatively unscathed, but here's the first contact, and yeah, Larry McDonald, I mean, nothing you can do here as a driver. You start turning the wheel, and even if you lock the brakes up, it's too late. Man, it's a big hit. Looks like the 0-2 of Richard Elliott was able to actually split the middle between these two, and not take any damage, not any contact either. Let's go take a ride on board with him before we go any further. Watch this here for Richard Elliott. They're going to wreck, I mean, right in front of him. Gets on the brakes, misses the first. Well, actually, he does make a little bit of contact right there with Steve Sizemore when they're nose to nose, but doesn't look like much. Definitely don't think it'll be a fast pair. Should be able to get that fixed up and get back going without too much of an issue. Take a couple different angles here at the hit for Larry McDonald. We back this up. And, you know, if he had more room, maybe he finds a way to save it. But I'm still surprised that this wreck didn't take out a lot more than it did. Just towards the back, though. I guess that was probably the good thing about it. But you see the smoke at the back, and talking about a big hit for a driver. So let's actually ride on board here again with Larry McDonald for this impact. Take a look as he turns the steering wheel here, but there's just going to be nothing he can do. And in fact, a hit like this, sometimes it jerks that steering wheel depending on how you hit the wall, but as soon as it gets turned, So as he limps it back to the pits, again, that'll be his first fast spare of the night. But as we go back up front, John Ward, every restart we have had, he has been leading here at Talladega, and he will be leading this one with under 10 laps to go. Justin Mills in second, Will Rainwell third, Daniel Eberhardt in fourth, Dylan Jones back in fifth with Michael Menchaca sixth, Jimmy Shelton in seventh, Logan York eighth, Christian Martinez ninth, and Tucker McClendon rounding out your top 10. We are going to take a quick break. We will be right back for the restart. Stick with us at Talladega. Front, now we're going to see a little four-wide action.
Crazy out of the triangle.
Oh, he gets over into the lead on the record.
3x3 entering
3 deep. At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Maines winning it at Talladega. Back live at Talladega Superspeedway for the MNMR 106. 40 laps was the scheduled distance here tonight. Still on schedule at this point. 3 cautions out of the about 31. Going to be 32 laps complete that we have ran up to this point. And we're getting ready for the green flag to see if we can get this thing wrapped up. Still a lot of trucks running. In fact, all of them. Nobody even a lap down to this point. 2 fast pairs. We've had probably about 5 to 7 trucks that have had to use one of those 2 so far. Man, that makes you wonder, do these guys start to get a little bit antsy? Everybody's plenty good to go on fuel. You are not pitting the rest of the way unless you're going to fix damage. Here we go. Green flag is back in the air. 8 laps to go at Talladega. Good start for the inside yet again. John Ward seems to have these things perfected. How about on the inside, though? Will Rainwell, first time that he has been in the top 3 here tonight. Just behind him, Dylan Jones with a 24. If he could get clear, I think he'll jump up here in front of Justin Mills. Nothing doing yet as Eberhardt's trying to get a run on the outside to get up to the back bumper of Justin Mills. Still hasn't been able to get up there just yet. Now he's going to get the run as he gets a push. John Ward sees that quickly. Going to jump to the outside, further back. We got one get shuffled off. Looks like it's Danny Epsterman. He's going to try to work his way back on track. He's able to do so successfully. No incident, no contact there. But they are still trying to get it sorted out. In fact, the 5 of Bobby Forbes, he's going to fall back here along with Derek Raleigh. There's a 12 of Steve Sizemore involved in that last incident, working his way back to the front. Oh, big catch right there from Will Rainwell. Maybe a little bit of a sour push right there from Dylan Jones. But he gives him a chance to catch it. He does just that. And what this is going to do is set up one of these lanes for a big run. Jones jumped to the outside in front of Daniel Eberhardt. And up top, the 0-2, John Daniels and the 71 of Martin Bourquet, trying to get a run set up, trying to see if they can get enough to get to the front with it. And they're going to be coming to 6 laps to go next time. I know it's a ways, but if we make it to the white flag, the race will be official. So you got to get to the front now. You don't know what's going to happen, and now we're starting to see it. 3 wide, that 3rd lane. They're finally getting something going. John Daniels, the lead truck, Martin Bourquet, Larry McDonald up there as well. I think they're going to need either a little bit more help or need to get a little bit more organized, but they're going to get the help. Bobby Forbes jumps up there along with Steve Sizemore, Richard Elliott as well. And now you wonder, does anybody else think about jumping up? If you're Michael Menchaca, Tucker McClendon, I think this is your chance. You got to take it. And there he goes, Tucker McClendon. Now he's a little late. They're going to split him 4 wide. They quickly duck back in line, so it'll still stay 3 wide. As they work their way into turn 1, they'll get another taker. This time it's Wesley Lynch. Saw him doing a lot of pushing earlier. More and more trucks keep jumping out to this third. Next up in line is Michael Menchaca. You got to wonder, does he make the move or does he stay where he's at for the moment? Doesn't look like he's going to make a move yet, and all of a sudden that third lane that looked so promising a lap ago is starting to fade, and it's starting to fade fast. John Ward still on the inside with Justin Mills pushing, but up top, Dylan Jones not quite able to get clear. You got to wonder, how much temp does Daniel Eberhardt have left under the hood of that F-150? And he's going to keep pushing here until he can get Dylan Jones clear. Justin Mills in the same boat. Which lane's going to get hot first, and who's going to have to let who in front? And right now on the inside, John Ward back to even as they come now to 5 laps to go. Does anyone dare try to make the 4th lane work? We haven't seen it up to this point all night, but it certainly is an option if you think about trying it. The 24, Dylan Jones, still in the middle, trying not to get off center with Daniel Eberhardt. They are pushing for all their worth. I cannot believe that we have yet to see Mills or Eberhardt let off at this point. They have been tandem up both lanes now for about a lap and a half, but there's the big effort from Jones, who's going to jump out to let Eberhardt get some clean air. Oh, he gets turned. This is going to be the big one, though, I reckon. Yellow flag is out as they slide down and up the track. The 33 of Lynch is in it. There goes the 2 of Will Rainwell. Looks like Logan York might have snuck through. Richard Elliott's got damage. Steve Sizemore, Michael Menchaca just starting to go back to a roll. They got within 4 laps of it, but could not quite make it. Let's go back and take a look. What brings out your 4th caution here of the night, putting us at an average of a caution every 10 laps. And here we go. Let's go see where this starts. It's going to start up front. And here we go. Eberhardt, does he just get a... No. That actually starts with Menchaca and Mills. So we're going to go to the aerial shot of this one to see if... I think Menchaca is coming down here. Yeah, so Michael Menchaca, he's not getting pushed by anyone right here. But what happens is he's pushing so hard on Eberhardt, he can't see the turn, I think, and just comes down the track just a little bit. But unfortunately, when you're running this tight, you can't afford to do it. And when he comes down the track just that little bit, he gets into the right rear of Justin Mills. Nothing Justin can do. That hooks him up the track into Daniel Eberhardt. And now the wreck's on. Eberhardt, does he actually? Yeah, he saves it. Man, what a save for Daniel Eberhardt. But not so much the case out back here. They start wrecking, and they wreck pretty big. The 0-2 down in the grass is the 2 as well. Will Rainwell in it. The 33 of Wesley Lynch. Got some of the worst damage in this wreck. Let's back this up and take a couple different views of this one. First look from the TV follow cam. And Wesley Lynch, he's trying to save it, but then right at the end there he gets hooked, and that's a big impact. Danny Esterman coming along in the path with nowhere to go is going to make heavy contact with him, and then saw it look like Jimmy Shelton maybe getting turned there in the back. And Logan York, boy, just barely splitting through there at the last second. Let's take a ride on board with this one here with Logan York. As boy, he's been one of those guys that's been very vocal about wrecks that he feels like he's missed and then gets in late, but this one he's going to be able to miss. There you go. He sees it, checks up, and oh well. He does get a little damage, but it's nothing too bad, and overall, yeah, it's still a heck of a save. He's trying to drive through it all, and he's going to be able to do so. Take a couple more shots at this one here, one from the wall cam. I thought we saw the big one earlier, but this one I think is going to officially go down in the books as the big one at this point. We take our final look at it there. I still cannot get over how Eberhardt managed to wheel out of this one. I mean, he may have got a couple nicks and scratches on that truck, but definitely nothing as bad as it initially looked like it was going to be had he not been able to save that truck. Yeah, that was Jimmy Shelton who backed it hard into the safer barrier there towards the end. So as everybody gets rolling, it'll go down as probably about a 10 to 12 truck wreck in total as we go back live Taking a look at your leader here, Dylan Jones. He's up 6 from where he started. And the first restart of the night where John Ward will not be leading. Still on the front row, though. He'll start on the outside in second. Daniel Eberhardt back in third. Logan York in fourth. Danny Eshelman in fifth with Shane Bradshaw in sixth. Bobby Forbes in seventh. Martin Bourquet in eighth with John Darnell ninth. Larry McDonald in 10th. Derek Olay back in 11th with Christian Martinez in 12th. John Daniels in 13th. Justin Mills back in 14th. Tucker McClendon 15th. Tim White in 16th with Jimmy Shelton in 17th. Richard Elliott back in 18th, Michael Menchaca 19th, and Wesley Lynch rounding out your top 20. Will Rainwell in 21st. Steve Sizemore currently not out on track. His night may have come to an end after that last track, so he would finish 22nd as it stands at the moment. Again, thank you all that have hung out here tonight. Come to check the series out. R&R Money Racing. Not a pretty good event here from what I've seen so far tonight. I've enjoyed broadcasting for these guys. Glad that they had me, but we still got a lot of money to give away here tonight, not just with this race, but again, John Ward's Little Guy Series after this. Make sure you either go check it out, run in it, or tune into it, whichever one works. And by the way, actually, while I remember here, we are playing with a couple new settings on Ghost Racing Network. One of them being now that we hit 1,000 subs, ads do run a little bit, and it's kind of interesting. I guess you get maybe a little bit of money, like a couple cents or something per view on each ad that you get. And so I guess YouTube set it up where there was supposed to be an ad when we said we were taking a break, but I'm still a little unsure how it works. So for anybody that was watching at that point, let me know if you got an ad or you didn't. And in terms of an ad, I mean like an actual ad, that like a YouTube ad, not just when we go to our side-by-side screen. But and if not, then I'm thinking what it's going to be is if you were watching the broadcast back, then you would get an ad at that point. So if anybody's watching, you can let me know that. Certainly would be appreciated. But if you're just tuning in, you picked a good point to do it, because it is going to be overtime number 1. Talk about they got the caution with 4 laps to go, so they didn't have enough time to make it a natural green light. Instead, it'll be our first overtime green light checkered. If they, well, they'll take the green flag, and if they make it around to the white flag, this race will be official. However, if they wreck on the first lap and it brings a caution out, and we will rack these guys up and try it again for one more attempt, as they only do have 2 green white checkered, so you got to get it in clean here. But at the same time, if you're in the back, you got to have the mentality of it is all go right here, because if we get another caution, you start to run that risk in your head of, man, once we get this next restart, they may wreck right off the get-go, and I may not be able to make any more progress. Again, it's only top 3 to pay out. And so right now, it's Dylan Jones, John Ward, and Daniel Eberhardt in those top 3 positions. I don't think you're going to see Eberhardt or Jones make a move. I think they're committed right here. John Ward, question's going to be, what can he do? How can he control lanes? Can he find a way to get clear of that powerhouse duo we see on the inside? All right, here we go. Pace truck pulls off potentially for the final time here tonight. Dylan Jones on the inside, John Ward on the outside. Both guys have been up front here tonight. And here we go. 2 laps to decide it. Who's going to win all the money? John Ward right out of the gate with a good restart. And actually, he's going to beat Dylan Jones across the line. Is it enough to get clear into turn 1? It's not just quite. Man, he was so close to getting clear, but now he's going to have to fall back to the front bumper of Logan York. If those two can start to get lined up, maybe get some momentum going on this outside, nothing doing just yet. In fact, this allows Daniel Eberhardt to almost get clear on the inside. Here we go, though. 3 wide, maybe 4 up top. Now we're going to see a block from Dylan Jones. It's not going to work as Eberhardt splits him on the inside. They're wrecking out back. One into the wall. Does he save it? He does. That was Larry McDonald in the 80 truck. Somehow holds on. Now we see John Ward quickly jump back down to the middle lane in front of Daniel Eberhardt. Logan York's get a big push from Shane Bradshaw. I don't know if they're going to make it. It's just getting too tight right now. And we got a lot of fishtailing as Logan York with the big move on the outside gets clear. Ward looking to go to the bottom. He's going to do so. Eberhardt's trying to split the gap, but they're going to make it. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go at Talladega. 4 wide. It's not going to work. They're racking out back. Jones and Bradshaw back down the track. Huge wreck out back. This is going to come down to a 4-truck battle to decide it. Logan York versus John Ward. Daniel Eberhardt, Danny Eshelman, the 2 pushers. And if you're Eberhardt here, do you think about making a move on Ward? Do you try to get him clear? What do you do? Same deal here for Danny Eshelman, Logan York. Do you block? How do you pan this out? A 2x2 tandem. One of the classic styles of racing that we see so often here at Talladega. This could come down to a drag race. Eberhardt ducking out for one final shot and one big push. What does Logan York do here? Does he have a block to throw? He doesn't. He's going to stay committed to the bottom. Danny Eshelman trying to push, but that top is rolling now. John Ward's going to get clear of the bottom. Does he take it? He doesn't. He'll stick up top with Daniel Eberhardt for now. He will do it. He is going to win the first R&R money race at Talladega. finds a way to do it yet again. John Ward is the winner tonight. Daniel Eberhardt brings home third, pushing him. Logan York second. And Danny Esselman, the last truck in that top four right there that made it to the start-finish line, but the only one that did not finish in the money. Oh man, before we get a look at too many things here, let's go back first and take a look at this white flag and how things get started. I mean, we know how they got started. These guys got 3 wide. You kind of figured it wasn't going to work, but so much fishtail, and Shane Bradshaw gets a little bit low. In fact, that's exactly what starts right here. Watch this. So Shane Bradshaw, I'm not sure if it's the push from the 71 that sends him down here or if he just goes low, but as soon as he gets down there, he's going to jump back up. Or as he tries to, the 71 of Martin Bourquet gets into him. That puts the 71 4 wide as the 80 of Larry McDonald tries to go on the top, and then they just run each other kind of out of room here. I'm not sure if Larry didn't realize they were 3 wide. Starts to creep down just a little bit. 71 maybe wobbling around as well. And once they get together, Dylan Jones gets hooked from it, gets up into Shane Bradshaw, and then as they go back down the track, they are going to collect everybody. At this point, you have 4 trucks in the mix. Fast forward, this wasn't much action, but there is going to be something right here that is your winning move, and it's a veteran move by Daniel Eberhardt. He lets these guys get a run right here. Watch what he does as they go into turn 3. He knows they're starting to surge ahead. He says, okay, here's what we're going to do, John. He's going to go up top, cool it down, set himself up so he can get a run to get locked on. That's what he does. He gets locked on right here. John Ward gets a side drafted by this point. Esterman maybe run out of temps, or those two just kind of falling off of each other. And look at that surge of momentum right there for John Ward and Eberhardt. It was almost enough to pull Eberhardt clear of Logan York and maybe get him to a second place finish. But it was plenty to get John Ward clear, and he's going to win it by about half a truck length. So as we go back live, John Ward will celebrate. He is the winner tonight. Let's take a look at your finishing results. Talk about John Ward getting the win here tonight. Logan York finishes second. Daniel Eberhardt in third with Danny Esselman back in fourth. Bobby Forbes in fifth. Tucker McClendon in sixth with John Daniels in seventh. Tim White in 8th, Justin Mills 9th, Christian Martinez rounding out your top 10. Shane Bradshaw finishes 11th, Martin Bourquet in 12th, Wesley Lynch in 13th with Jimmy Shelton in 14th, Dylan Jones 15th, Larry McDonald in 16th, John Dardell finishes in 17th, Richard Elliott in 18th, Derek Rollet finishes 19th, and Michael Menchaca rounding out your top 20. Will Rainwell finishes 21st, Steve Sizemore in 22nd, Keith Miller in 23rd, and CJ Fonda in 24th. But remember, those two were race control, not racing tonight. So 22 truck field and a good race. We are going to go see if we can get your top 3 in here for interviews. Stick with us. We'll be right back. All right, back live at Talladega Superspeedway. Got 2 of your top 3 in here, so we're going to start first tonight with your third place finisher, Daniel Eberhardt. Hey, Daniel, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, you bring home third, first money race in this series, and so, of course, first time in here, but overall, solid night. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was a little back and forth. Just crazy night, just crazy finish. Hate that everybody gets wrecked there. I mean, that's the worst part about this money racing is people getting wrecked, so that sucks.
Well, it certainly does, but I mean, overall, we saw you playing a couple different strategies here tonight. We actually saw you get collected in that earlier wreck, and I was kind of wondering up here from the booths, was at the time were you just trying to go to the front, feel it out, and then drop back, or what was the strategy going on there?
Yeah, I was trying to go to the back. There was a couple of guys that were zigzagging, making me a little nervous, so I was trying to get to the back and trying to help Danny get up there. I hate that I only paid 3 spots. I mean, I got to finish in the money for myself, but Danny's more deserving because he runs these things all the time.
Well, you finished third. You're taking home some money here tonight. Looks like $80, the official amount. So before we let you go and celebrate your winnings, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, thank you for you putting on the broadcast. Thank you to Derek for putting on the race. It's pretty fun. Hopefully gets the full field next time, and it'll be a better payout.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you for talking to us, and congrats on the third place finish.
Thanks.
All right, now that brings us to your second place finisher here tonight, Logan York. Logan, this is Austin. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Austin.
Well, I was in the Discords last night. You changed some things on your setup. Looks like it works out pretty darn good. You bring home second tonight, but what were you thinking there when you saw them all wrecking behind and you found yourself leading one of the 2 lines?
Oh, yeah. First of all, I honestly didn't even know they all wrecked behind me. I was just really focused on trying to hold it straight for Danny there. I didn't want to be off-centered or anything like that, so I've spent most of my time looking at that yellow line, just trying to get us both in the money. I wish he would have gotten the money because he did a hell of a job pushing on that last lap.
Well, nonetheless, you showed some aggression here tonight when it mattered and some patience. You bring home some good money here tonight, 120, the official total. Before we let you head out, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, thank you guys for broadcasting. Thanks, Derek Raleigh, for putting the show on. Thank you, friends at KSR, teaching me some of the stuff I learned. Thanks, Cody Niegels Baker, for helping with the setup. And yeah, that's it.
All right. Thank you for talking to us, and congrats again on the second place finish.
Of course. Thank you.
All right.
KSR.
All right. There you go. That brings us to your winner tonight. No surprise to see this man in victory lane. He has been on fire as of late. John Ward, this is Austin the Booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Austin.
Well, whether it's your series, somebody else's series, a big series, a little series, we keep finding you in victory lane. You get another one here tonight. You didn't have any teammates up there at the end, and you still found a way to get it done. How'd you do it?
I know they had 2 faster pairs, so my plan was just to stay up front as long as I could and race hard as I could. I'm usually never aggressive, and I tried to be a little aggressive here. I didn't want to make any mistakes, but I knew Daniel and Dylan were in the race. They were going to be up there at the end. Justin gave me a lot of help. I want to thank him for helping me a lot there. When he got taken out at the end, I was like, I might not get it, but I was pretty sure I was going to get at least in the money. But at the end, it was iffy. I wanted to stay with Daniel. It sucks that Danny Escherman didn't get in the money, but yeah, maybe next time we'll get more payouts or something. But it was a fun race overall, and I had real fun.
I was going to say, new series, first time running it. Now, a little different guys. You don't usually run with the guys that you saw in here tonight. How'd you feel about it?
Yeah. I wanted to try out because I never venture out too far, but I wanted to come over and see what was going on. I heard some things about it and all, but to tell you the truth, it was a really good race to me, and we didn't have that many yellows, and I'm looking forward to coming back. All
right, sounds like a plan. Well, before we let you head out tonight to enjoy your $150, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I want to thank you for putting the broadcast on, most definitely, and Derek for the show and the race and everything, and Heath Job for all the paints for my teams and everything. He really does a good job and hard work, and that's it.
Well, thank you for talking to us. Congrats again on the win, and hopefully we'll see you out here next time.
You got it, buddy.
All right, John Ward, your winner here tonight, the first race for R&R, and man, was it a good one. Well, that is just about going to wrap up our coverage here tonight for the MNMR 106. Again, we'll see if we got some more races in the future, but thank you all for tuning out. I hope you enjoyed. That is it for me, Austin Green. The Little Guys Series coming up next tonight over in Dega Pros on Hickory Racing Network. Make sure you go check it out. Until next time.